chill, relax, kick back, join the conversation. We're glad to have you. Zoom in with 100% focus to the here and now experience and let your mind be at ease in the drift. It's simple, it's easy, it's now, it's experiencing right now with 100% of your focused, undivided attention. So now we can dive into the next topic with 100% focused and undivided attention and discover what we can accomplish with this, with the here and now experience that we're experiencing now. Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to the session. Thanks for tuning in. This is the Invisible Army Mindfulness Session number 1, The Power of Now, Embracing Limited to Ignite Possibilities. So we're going to be going over a few things about the power of now, taking in the moment as we're in it, the experience. We're going to be going over focus, making sure we give 100% of our focus to the here and now moment that we're experiencing. Then we're going to go over limited versus limitless and just kind of the pros of being able to hone in on being simple and simplified and kind of putting an organization to the chaos type of benefits to the limited. And then we have time management. So then we're going to be going over time management and just kind of tying all of those things together. Here's our overview right here. The power of now, embracing limited to ignite possibilities. So we got experience, focus, limited versus limitless, and time management. And then if we have time, we're going to go over some tips. For each of these, we have tips for experience, tips for focus, tips for limited versus limitless mindset, and tips for time management. So we'll be going over that. So again, thank you guys for joining and tuning in. This is the Invisible Army. We are going over a mindfulness session, the power of now, embracing limited to ignite possibilities. We have some upcoming sessions. We have a session tomorrow at the same time going over Ikigai and just kind of talking a little bit about ways to find our passion and our purpose in this world, to each in their own, and just kind of touching the surface on that in tomorrow's session. But today we are focusing on how to embrace the now and embrace the limited. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So we have experience here. First up on here is experience, and let me double check this is where we want to be. Yes. So we're going to dive straight in with experience. And here's some notes you can look at while we're going over it right here. So experience, living in the moment. What is the experience? Living in the experience. The experience of the experience. What experience? The experience of right now. That being with some examples, whether it's either the experience of love, when you're experiencing it, experience it while you're experiencing it. The experience of scrolling through YouTube or Facebook, the experience of pain, the experience of music, the experience of sanity, the experience of insanity, the experience of laughter and joy. While you're doing these things, take note of this and take toll. The experience of a dream. When you're dreaming, experience that dream. One of the topics we'll touch on is focus later on. Focus while you're experiencing that experience. Focus on that experience. Whether it's a dream, whether it's a thought, whether it's a sound. Experience boredom. When you're experiencing boredom, be in that moment. Experience that moment. Recognize that moment. Exhaustion, jealousy, the experience of physically sensing something with your eyes, nose, ears, or hands or feet. When you experience these things, as we all do, let's experience them wholeheartedly and with 100% of our intention and focus on that experience of right now or then and now. There's no greater time. Why? Well, doing this allows us to practice and live out the simple mantras of gratitude and thankfulness, being in the moment and experiencing the moment. So the gratitude and thankfulness of existence and for being alive, and taking note of that and showing appreciation that for that concept of us being alive, and us showing appreciation by taking in the moment and seizing that moment. That's why taking in the experience of now is crucial. Otherwise, you're breaking up your energy and putting it towards focusing on multiple things at once, and you're not living in the moment, you're living in multiple moments. And in doing so, being able to fully be impactful as you could be in each other moment. So for an example, for when we touch on to focus, we can put 20% of ourselves into 5 different experiences at once, or we can put ourselves 100% into the right now experience, one at a time and with purpose, intent, and focus. And speaking of focus, that is our next topic. So we are going to jump into focus now. Let me make sure this is in focus. Looks to be in focus. All right. Focus. So what is the importance of focus? Well, when we're taking in our experience, and when taking note of that experience, and we're taking in the moment and channeling it towards a direction of intent, we could call it zooming in on the experience. So when we're focused, it's like we're taking in the experience and zooming in on it. And then some examples of that would be when you're trying to focus, you could focus on shooting that ball in basketball. You could work more on focusing on a test coming up. You could dedicate 100% of your focus towards that basketball shot or towards that test. 100% of your focus could go towards the job you want, towards the job you have. Your focus could go on the company you want to build or the company you're building. You could focus on family. You can focus on the family you want to raise. You can focus on your faith and connection. You can focus on your community. You can focus, but focus and focus and focus. How much should you focus? 100% focus. When you're zoomed in 100% into the experience, you can take control of that experience and navigate it towards a more continually positive experience. And that is the power of focus. You can take control of the experience. It's one thing to be in the experience, but if you can focus, you can control the experience again and navigate it towards a more continually positive experience and keep the party going. So why focus? When we don't focus, or we have our focus split up into multiple categories of focus, our mind will not perform its best in either category. And we should want to perform our best in everything that we do. So with 100% on one thing and one project and one experience at a time, we can better accomplish our goals, whatever they may be. So 100% focus right now in this experience, right now, 100% focus right now. Next, we have limited versus limitless. Gonna try to get through this, make sure we can get to the questions. And so now we're gonna come up here and jump onto limitless. Limited versus limitless. All right. So now we're experiencing the experience of experience, and now we're 100% focused. So now let's become, instead of limitless, become limited. Why would someone want to be limited instead of limitless? Well, being limited allows us to think simply, and simplicity will always be the best answer for optimal decision making. Combining our knowledge from what we just went over with experience and focus, we can now remain in the moment of now and limit ourselves to 100% focus on the here and now. If we limit ourselves to now, then we don't have to break up our focus into being everywhere else all at once without limit. To be without limit would be exhausting. We cannot be limitless. We don't want to be limitless. Trying to be everywhere at once is not how we can accomplish anything impactful for ourselves or for others. We must slow down and hone in on the moment and the task at hand so we can accomplish it effectively whatever it may be, and there will always be a task at hand to focus 100% of our attention on. Now here's a visual example of the benefits of being limited. A drop of red ink in the ocean is not going to do much. But if you take that same drop and put it into a jug of water, it's going to turn that entire jug of water red. That's the power of being limited. You do not want to throw yourself out into the ocean and your ideas into a vast ocean and try an ocean's worth of project. Focus in on a jug of water's worth of a project and 100%, and then move on to the next jug of water and put your red and concentrate the water and then move on to the next. And that's the power of being limited instead of limitless. That's the power of what we can do when we're focused. So limiting our focus and zooming into the experience is the goal. When we do this, we can focus on that moment and give it our 100% undivided attention. Keep your focus limited to the moment, 100% the moment. Keep it simple. Keep it super simple. That's the KISS method. Keep it super simple or keep it stupid simple. Just keep it simple. Slow down, and at times it is necessary to, instead of overthinking, to underthink. Take 2 steps backwards so you can take 4 steps forward. And we're going to touch more into that in time management in the next topic here in a moment. But back to limited versus limitless. So being limited to the moment is a huge deal. You want to be limited to the moment. If you want to be limitless, you would have to even first know your limits. So be limited to right now. Chill, relax, kick back, join the conversation. We're glad to have you. Zoom in with 100% focus to the here and now experience and let your mind be at ease in the drift. It's simple, it's easy, it's now, it's experiencing right now with 100% of your focused, undivided attention. So now we can dive into the next topic with 100% focused and undivided attention and discover what we can accomplish with this, with the here and now experience that we're experiencing now. So let's jump down over here to time management. And again, we have some tips to go over at the end of this. Be not afraid, we do have some tips to go over that will be a great blanket framework to digest. And we are going over a lot in a small amount of time, but with 100% focus. But with 100% focus, we can do that and still get this accomplished. So let's dive into time management now. And speaking of now, and the experience of now, how much time do we have left now? Taking everything we've gone over so far with experience, focus, and being limited, let's tie it all together with a small talk on time management. How do we actually effectively manage taking in the experience of now and focusing 100% and being limited to the moment? Mentally, how can we manage the time to decompress to get to this point of appreciating the experience more and more as we grow? How do we even find the time to find the time? This is right. So the question also being, if we absolutely have to spread ourselves out in 5 different places at once, if you have to, sometimes you do, or 10 different places at once with responsibilities and projects and all of those things, how can we be limited with 100% focus to any single assignment? Very great question. Now, this is undoubtedly the game changer in terms of effectively and optimally accomplishing tasks when you feel overloaded. This is exactly how to simplify the chaos and keep our cool, calm, and collectedness, which is important. And that is by time management. How do we tie all of these things together? Experience, focus, and limited, and versus limitless, and being able to actually work on focusing on these things. How do we get there? Your answer is time management. What do I mean by time management? In a nutshell, here are a few examples before we get into specifics. And these aren't things you're going to do so that you have more time to focus on your assignments at hand, but again, with a relaxed state of mind so that you can focus 100% on each task at hand and have enough time to focus 100% of your attention on that one task at hand. So this isn't going to be get more time to overload your mind. No. So this is what we're talking about. So now go to sleep 1 hour earlier. Wake up 1 hour earlier. Use social media less. Focus on your time more and more in the moment. Spend more time on your goals or assignments and less time with things that drain your energy. And instead, stay home and work on yourself. Just consider it. We'll touch back on it in a second. Now go to sleep an hour earlier or wake up an hour earlier. Get 2 hours back in your life. Get 2 hours a day. Find 2 hours a day. And if you can't go to sleep 1 hour earlier, and if you can't wake up 1 hour earlier, use social media less. You will probably get back an hour of your life. Now this is what we want to do with that hour of your life. If you only have an hour back, this is what we're going to do with that hour. So now what's the point in getting all of the time back? What's the point in getting the hour back if it's still not enough time? This is where the kicker comes in. That extra hour of sleep that you get, that extra 2 hours of sleep, or that extra hour you got back from not using social media, or that extra 4 hours you got back from staying home instead of going out and partying, because that comes later. What you get back is the time we use to work on ourselves. That's what this time is devoted for. This is the time we use to take a moment and breathe. Pretty important. The premise of time management is to ensure we have time for ourselves. If it's not the premise of your time management, then your time management might be exhausting. So what do we do with this extra time for ourselves? This time is some of the most important time of the day. Use this time wisely. This is the time that you have to your advantage. Use this time to make you whole again. Use this time to spend with your family and your friends and to see their smiles. Use this time to exercise. Use this time to do some self-development learning. Use this time to settle the thoughts in your mind with a short meditation session and some nice tea or whatever you might enjoy that relaxes you. Enjoy a hobby for a minute. Take a load off because that's what this time is for. But crucially, it is important to take a portion of this free time and set it to actually take the time to calm your mind. After all, that is what this time is for. We want to take this time to calm our mind so we can make better decisions. So visually, we can often see our thoughts like a raging sea, and we need to aim for calming that sea. So let's take some time to calm that sea. That way it's smooth sailing for when we do have to focus our attention on the moment and experience it with limited and pinpoint concentration. So take some time out to learn about a few things about the benefits of meditation. Dip your toes in it. Not to empty your mind meditation. Do not empty your mind. This is a calm the mind meditation. You do not want to empty the ocean. You want to calm it down. Find what calms your ocean. It could be art, it could be music, painting, nature walks, it could be dark silence, it could be anything, and it will be unique to you. What is it that relaxes you that you can let your mind drift away to? And calm the sea. Because this is the time that we have and that is important to use for reflection. When we have time to reflect, we have time to think. When we have time to think, we have time. And that's the benefits of time management. So find an extra hour and get your time back and focus wisely on the time that you do get back. So now we are going to go to our tips. So the first few tips that we have are for experience and embracing the experience of now. So for the experience of now, just some tips. Tip 1, mindfulness practice. Engage in mindfulness, meditation, or exercise. 1 second. Engage in mindfulness, meditation, or exercise to train your mind to stay present and fully experience each moment. Talking about experiencing each moment, and it's so funny. Then my phone just went off to talk to my brother. Isn't that so great? And now we're in the moment, in each moment though. The point is to enjoy the moment. That's the goal. Whether we're in this moment or that moment, we want to get to a state of joyous. We want to be good vibes. So mindfulness practice is how we can get there with that. Engage in mindfulness meditation, and we can get better at being less stressful when we diversify the percentage of time. So we train our mind to stay present and fully experience each moment. Sensory awareness. Pay attention to your senses. Feel the textures, notice the colors, smell the scents, and hear the sounds around you. This brings heightened awareness to the present. So we can really, when we're experiencing the here and now, right now moment, what are you hearing? What are you feeling? What are you seeing? What are you smelling? What are you thinking? Think about that. Limit distractions. Minimize distractions by turning off unnecessary notifications or finding a quiet space. This helps in fully immersing yourself in the current experience of right now. One task at a time. Focus. That's what we know. We love focus. Focus on completing one task at a time rather than multitasking. Remember, you don't want to give 20% of your attention to 5 different things. You want to give 100% of your attention to the task at hand, the thing you're currently looking at right now, so you can better get that accomplished, then move on to the next task. Time management will help with that. You can focus on building some time management routines, which we'll go over with our tips here in a moment. And give your full attention to each activity for a richer experience. You can't go wrong. Reflective journaling. Keep a journal where you reflect on your daily experiences. Writing down your thoughts and feelings can deepen your connection with each moment. You can try that. Gratitude practice. Take a moment each day to acknowledge and express gratitude for the positive aspects of your life. This cultivates a mindset of appreciation. We want to be grateful for the experiences that we have. The experience of being able to experience itself is enough to give appreciation to. The fact that we are alive and conscious, it in itself is worth all praise. So let's practice that and make sure we think those thoughts and keep that in mind. Digital detox. Allocate specific times during the day for a digital detox, disconnecting from screens to be fully present in the offline world. So that's something we could all work and continually try to do and put in our routine as well as much as possible. It can be difficult, but taking some time and some percentage of time when we do our meditations, we can set the phones to the side and etc. And that is still a form of digital detox. So small steps are still steps. Every step is a huge step. So keep that in mind. Engage in new experiences. Step out of your comfort zone and try new activities. Exploring unfamiliar territory enhances your capacity to appreciate different moments. So you really get to soak it in. And the more you learn, the more you can teach. So you want to get as much as experience as out there as you can in any form. In any form. Go somewhere just to tell someone else about it and enrich the lives of others as enriching your own. So speaking of others, connect with others. When spending time with loved ones, focus on being fully present, put away electronic devices, and actively engage in the conversations, creating meaningful connections. We can all relate to that, I'm sure. And practice patience. Allow things to unfold naturally and avoid rushing through experiences. Embrace the journey rather than fixating on reaching the destination. And that's a healthy reminder. Focusing on the journey, not the destination. The journey, focusing on the journey. The experience, focus on right now. If you're not focusing on right now, when you get to the destination, you're not going to be happy about the journey that you took to get to the destination. Make it a good journey. Now we got some tips for maintaining focus. We have 12 tips for maintaining focus. We just went over some tips, 10 tips for going over experience and being able to live in the moment of experience. And now we're going to go over tips for remaining 100% focus. So we can set clear goals for one. Define specific achievable goals for each task. Clarity and objective also helps direct your focus towards meaningful outcomes. We can reach clarity with the meditation that we talked about to make our better decisions and optimal decisions that are more meaningfully impactful. So clear goals, setting big goals and smaller goals to get to those big goals is one way you can do it. You could and work backwards from a big goal, or however you'd like to do it. Prioritize tasks. Arrange tasks in order of importance. You can focus on high priority items first. High priority items, and it first ensures that your energy is directed towards the most impactful activities. So you want to get all your energy towards what's going to take the most energy to get it out of the way, and you want to eat that frog, as Brian Tracy would say. And so we got 3 for maintaining 100% focus. Create a focused work environment by minimizing external disturbances. Turn off unnecessary notifications and establish designated periods for focused work. As I'm saying this, my cat's scratching at the window, so I had to throw a pin at him. So I eliminated that distraction. Oh, he's still going at it. Alright, distraction eliminated. Alright, now create a focused work environment by minimizing external disturbances. Turn off unnecessary notifications, eliminate cats, and establish designated periods for focused work. Perfect. Now this is for focus. Time blocking. Allocate specific time blocks for different tasks. This dedicated time allows for deep concentration without the constant urge to switch between activities. Over time, we'll get in the rhythm of having these things already down. We'll naturally prioritize tasks. We'll get the hard stuff done. We'll be ready to do it. Time blocks will come more natural. We'll just get in the rhythm of finding our me time and being able to better make use of that me time that we all need and we'll find the time for. And focus our attention in that experience of those times as all times. And single tasking. Avoid multitasking. Concentrate on one task at a time to optimize the quality of your work and enhance overall productivity. We are not meant to multitask. You do not want to juggle 5 things at once. Juggle one thing at once with 100% of your focus and see how well you can accomplish that task. 6, use productivity tools. Leverage productivity apps or techniques like the Pomodoro technique to structure work into focused intervals, promoting sustained attention. So the Pomodoro, or however you pronounce it, technique is a method of study. So for example, you study for 45 minutes and then take 5 minutes out to rest. You could play a quick Uno game or 2 and then jump back in. Study for 45 minutes, tap out for 5 minutes, tap back in for 45 minutes, tap back out, because our focus attention spans peak at about 90 minutes and then go down after there. So once they peak, and if we stop to take that 5-minute break, we can level back out and go back to our peak instead of our focus just downhilling down for the rest of the our attention span towards whatever we're doing. So we can look more into this and utilize this technique if it helps you. Some people can work 10 hours straight, but maybe working for an hour and then taking a 5-minute break or 10-minute break and then coming back for an hour and then 5 and 10 minutes and then back for an hour would be more optimal. That way that's so much time that you can use to leverage and time that you can get back, like we were talking before in time management, and use some of the things that we've talked about to your advantage and getting your time back, whether it's a 5-minute motivational video or 5 more minutes in a book that's a 2-hour book that you're trying to finish. We can get that time back and utilize this technique while we're at it. And while we're at it, we'll practice mindfulness, incorporating mindfulness techniques such as deep breathing, brief meditations, even for a 2-minute meditation, 30-minute meditation, stopping, appreciating that you're alive, calming the ocean, centering your mind and bringing it back to the present moment and focus. That's what we would like to do. When focus wavers and we can try to calm the oceans. So 8. Break tasks into smaller steps. Divide larger tasks into smaller ones. We just mentioned that. More manageable steps. Focusing on the smaller components makes the overall task seem less overwhelming. You don't want to always focus on the big picture. Focus on the here and now, 100% here and now, one task at a time, one day at a time. Don't worry about yesterday. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry at all. Think today. Think this moment, which you're doing great by taking the time out to be here and hear this session with the Invisible Army. You are taking steps in the right direction towards learning more steps, tips, regardless of what it is. Information is information, and it is going from point A now to you, point B, and what you do with this information is up to you, and the power is to you. So congratulations, it's worth celebrating about. So now, back to 100% focus, we'll focus on setting boundaries. Clearly communicate your focus periods to others, whether it's colleagues, family, or friends, to minimize interruption during the crucial work times. Regular breaks, we could go over that as well. Schedule short breaks between focus sessions. These pauses help prevent burnout and maintain a high level of concentration when returning to tasks. So we have clearly communicating to our friends and our colleagues and family, so we can that we are in a focus period. You know, some people do this at different times, and then we have our regular breaks. We could schedule short breaks between focus sessions. These pauses help prevent burnout and maintain a high level of concentration when returning to tasks. The Pomodoro technique we were just talking about will probably apply here. Visual reminders. Use visual cues such as sticky notes or visual boards to remind yourself of your primary focus or goal. This reinforces your commitment to staying on track. So even a post-it note that says "you can" is a reminder. Hey, I can. Can what? You can do that thing that you're doing right now, and you can finish it. The one that's on top of your mind right now, that's what you can do. All you need to do is write "you can" down somewhere and put it somewhere as a post-it note. You can. You can what? You can do that thing that you're thinking about that you need to get done. Yeah, I can I? Yes, you can. And then we can reflect on our progress. Regularly assess your progress and accomplishments. Celebrating small wins and smaller wins boosts motivation and encourages sustained focus on future tasks. Even those small wins are so important. If we don't celebrate the small wins, it's going to make it harder to keep going for the big win. So every win is a win. And now we're going to come over to tips for embracing limited focus over limitless distractions. And we're going to go through these because we only have so much time and we have to wrap up for questions. Tips for embracing limited focus over limitless distractions. 1. Define clear priorities. Identify and prioritize the most crucial tasks or goals in your life. Focus on these priorities, recognizing that not everything demands your immediate attention. Focus on your priorities and recognize that not everything demands your immediate attention. So this is very important. We want to be limited to focus and knock these things with 100% focus out of the ballpark one at a time and get them done realistically. So we could set realistic goals, establish achievable and specific goals rather than trying to tackle an overwhelming number of objectives simultaneously. This helps in the maintaining a limited yet impactful focus. Yet impactful, but simple and limited. How do we get there? Mindfulness, taking the time out that we get back to do the right things, to learn, to progressively lifelong learn, to meditate, to breathe, to calm the ocean. These are things that are impactful. Focus is impactful. Practice saying no. Learn to decline additional commitments or tasks when your plate is already full. Saying no allows you to protect your limited focus for essential matters. You do have to prioritize sometimes. However, time that you get back can be prioritized for time to spend with people, so you can say yes more often. It doesn't always have to be no, but no does it can be crucial to take into account for priorities at times. Now, for being limited, we can utilize the 80-20 rule, apply the Pareto principle. Focus on the 20% of activities that contribute to 80% of your desired outcomes. This selective approach ensures a concentrated effort on what truly matters. Focus on the top 20%. That's going to make 80% of the impact. If you do that times 5, and so now and then this times 5, that would be a huge impact. More worth taking into consideration. Now 5, limit information intake. Control the amount of information you consume, whether it's news, social media, or emails. Limiting input helps prevent information overload and maintains a clear focus. And a lot of these things we already know, but hearing them again helps reiterate it in our minds, and it's just as good for me just to hear it just as it is for you. So let's continue. Batch similar tasks. Group similar tasks together and address them during dedicated time blocks. This minimizes context switching, allowing for a more concentrated and efficient approach. So if you need to talk to the marketing team and the legal team, you could talk to them both at once instead of talking to one at a time. If you're giving a speech, you can give it to 300 people one at a time for 300 speeches, or you could give that one speech to 300 people. That would be applying a lot of what we're trying to go over today, and then that would be batching that huge task into one for optimal, impactful outcomes. Embracing constraints. Recognize that limitations can foster creativity and innovation, because working within constraints encourages and motivates you to find optimal solutions and enhances your ability to focus on what truly matters. You'll never be so creative when you're down to your last drop of needing to be creative. So, when you gotta do it, you gotta do it. So tap in. But while you're doing that, avoid perfectionism. Understand that perfectionism can lead to overcommitting and spreading focus too thin. Embrace imperfections and focus on completing tasks rather than striving for flawless outcomes. One thing I like to always say is focus on your strengths. Work on your weaknesses. Work on your weaknesses, but focus on your strengths. You don't need to focus on your weaknesses. Focus on your strengths. Your weaknesses, just work on them. You don't have to not focus a little on them. Just work on them. And set realistic timelines. Establish realistic timelines for your projects and commitments. A well-structured time frame prevents the urge to take on too much at once, and promoting focused attention on current tasks. And promoting focused attention on current tasks. That way we can focus all of our attention on the task at hand and not have it divided up. And we have a realistic timeline and framework in mind that we can build off of and go and touch back with. And something we do need to evaluate regularly, periodically reassess. This could be at the beginning of the week, at the beginning of the month. Periodically reassess your commitments and activities. This evaluation helps ensure that your focus remains on tasks aligned with your long-term goals and values. It could be at the beginning of the year, the month, the week, the day. Very important. Cultivate mindfulness. Practice mindfulness techniques to bring your attention back to the present moment. Mindfulness helps prevent the mind from wandering into limitless distractions. You do not want to be limitless. You'll be stretched so thin. You want to be limited. Don't not drop your concentrated ideas into the ocean. Drop them into a jug of water and shake the jug of water up and turn it into something that you want to turn it into. Now that was the tips for being limited, focus over limitless distractions. So now we're going to jump into tips for effective time management and get this wrapped up on time. So for time management, effective time management, which is so important to getting back our time. It doesn't take much, but this is what we can do to take action in that realm. Prioritize your tasks. Identify and prioritize tasks based on urgency and importance. Tackle high priority items first to ensure critical objectives are met. So take out the big stuff first. We have a book on our website. If you go to the books page, that's called Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. We recommend it. It's all about prioritization. We highly recommend it. Go read it right after you get done with this session, please. Thank you. Next, create a schedule. Develop a daily or weekly or monthly or yearly schedule outlining specific time blocks for various activities. This provides a structured framework for managing your time. Do it for fun. Do it for a project. Do multiple different kinds. You get to plan. Planning can be fun. You can be so creative with your planning. You can set goals and things to look forward to. There's so much imagination and creativity that can go along with scheduling and planning. It's up to you. But focus and being present and happy and joyous and creating your joyous experience wherever you walk and passing that along is your job, and you can do that, and you will. So do that while you're setting your goals. And use time management tools. Utilize apps, calendars, or planners to organize and track your schedule. Technology can be a valuable ally in optimizing time management. Very much so. Practice the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes to complete, do it immediately. This prevents small tasks from accumulating and consuming more time later on. If you can get it done right then and there, just get it done. Learn to delegate. The best automation is delegation, I like to say. Delegate tasks when possible. Recognize that not everything requires your personal attention, allowing you to focus on high priority responsibilities. You can teach and train others to take care of certain tasks and then allow them to take care of those tasks. That would be delegating, training. 7, for time management, batch similar activities. Again, we've gone over this. We can see this pattern here. Group similar tasks together to minimize context switching. This helps maintain focus and efficiency in completing related activities. You want to limit multitasking as well. Avoid multitasking. You see the pattern here. There is a pattern here towards success, whatever it may be, in your terms. So avoid multitasking if you haven't heard us say it already, as it can decrease overall productivity. Do not take on more than you can chew. If you can, re-go over things, learn to delegate, change percentages of your time up, step back, make big you're gonna have to make big changes, but that's the truth, the hard truth sometimes we have to do. So going over the drawing board can be crucial. Limit multitasking is important. That should be at the foundation of all your frameworks, personal and business, and etc. Set time limits. Allocate specific time limits for tasks to prevent them from expanding beyond what is necessary. Don't spend 2 hours on something that should take 10 minutes. If you're sitting there knowing that it shouldn't be, move on. This enforces a sense of urgency and prevents procrastination. Take regular breaks. Schedule short breaks between tasks to prevent burnout. Brief pauses can rejuvenate your mind and improve overall focus. Do that. Take breaks. Meditate for 2 minutes a day will change your life. Review and adjust. Regularly review your time management strategies. Once again, adjust your approach based on what works best for you and adapt to changing priorities. You do have to know when to change plans. Make plans, know when to make them, know when to change them. Practice the Eisenhower matrix. Categorize tasks into 4 quadrants based on urgency and importance. Focus on tasks in the important and urgent quadrant to maintain control over your schedule. There's another tip for time management. Time blocking for personal development. Dedicate specific time blocks for personal development, self-care, and reflection. Prioritizing self-improvement contributes to a more balanced and fulfilled life. Like a lot of things, again, we see the pattern. Learn to say no, even for time management. Politely decline additional commitments when your schedule is already full. Saying no allows you to protect your time for essential activities, which can even be meaning allows you to say yes. Sometimes you have to say 3 no's or 5 no's or 10 no's, so in the future you can say 100 yeses. Reflect and celebrate. Take time to reflect on your achievements and adjustments. Celebrate small wins and milestones to maintain motivation and a positive mindset. Even the small wins are huge wins. So take note of those, write them down, put them in the mirror. When you wake up and look at your small wins, look at your big wins, look at everything. Waking up early, that's a win. Working out even a little bit that day, that's a win. Thinking about working out, that's a win. Practicing your faith, working with your community, that's a win. Eating healthy, that's a win. These are things we can do to help us maintain a better balance in our lives. So that wraps up our session for today, everybody. We can go ahead and open up with questions now. Again, I would like to thank you all for being here with the Invisible Army Mindfulness session number 1, where we went over the power of now, embracing limited to ignite possibilities. And again, our overview was experience. We went over experience, the time and the power of now. We went over focus and focusing 100% of our attention on the experience and now. We went over limited versus limitless, concentrating our focus and experience and simplifying it into the now moment and limiting ourselves. And then we went over time management, tying everything together to be able to continually push ourselves in the right direction and how to balance that, which includes lifelong learning and continual self-development. So we will go ahead and conclude this session and open up for questions. Thank you guys for being here, and we will see you guys in the next session. And all right, bye-bye.